Hello you beautiful people, welcome back to the Hiker Plays video. Today, I want to talk to you guys about DPS. Now, in this guide, I want to show you how to build a DPS character, what sort to prioritize, and then what DPS characters are. So, we're going to start with a mini DPS tier list, which I will show on the screen now. So, your best DPS in the game is Broly, followed by your A tier. These are all very, very top tier DPS. You've got characters like Toppo, Zamasu, Beerus, and Champa. Do note, Champa is a single target DPS, whilst the rest of them are going to be doing AoE. Champa's going to be doing a lot of single target damage. So he is really strong, but he won't be killing anywhere near as fast as the others. And then you've got the likes of Cell, who's quite bulky, but and you know, just provides a lot of damage. Goku, Ultra Instinct Goku, Frieza, Golden Frieza that is. That's Super Saiyan 2, that's Teen Gohan. And then Super Saiyan Blue Goku as your B tiers. These are, again, very, very solid DPS options who are going to carry you throughout the game as well, but just fall a little short of that A tier and definitely fall a lot short of that S tier. And then your C tier are your beginner level DPS, and I've just chucked one on D tier just to say, hey, like, people like this don't pick. That sounds really bad. No, like, there are a lot of DPS, and pretty much anyone not on this list is going to be in that D tier. But there you are, there's a very quick snapshot of what best DPS to pick. Now, let's go and start building DPS. Now, it doesn't matter which DPS out of that lot you pick, you're going to be building them pretty much the same. So, in my case, I will be building my Broly. We're going to start with gear. So, with gear, on someone like Broly, you want to run a full dual set. What does that mean? It means you're going to get the 4-piece dual set. So you're going to have a 10% attack increase and a crit increase by 10%, as well as when landing crits, you're going to have a 10% chance to increase your critical hit damage by 100%, and that does last for 3 seconds. So that's what you're aiming for. You do have some gear priority on here, so you want to try and max your arms first, and then you want to max your underwear, whatever that is, next, because both of those give you attack as their main stat. Once you're happy with them, you want to start maxing your boots and your armor. It doesn't matter which order you do those two in. Personally, I like to do the boots first, but it doesn't really matter. The attack stat is really what you're after. Now, you're going to also want to enhance and then go into blessings. Here you can see I've got Claw as my main stat. Funnily enough, that isn't the best main stat for DPS. So once you get to level 10, which I have now done, you can start rolling for smack, which is attack percentage. It's always better to have a percentage. So once you get to 10, you can start rolling for the attack percentage. I don't have the crystals, or I would sort of show you. There we are, smack. So that will give you an attack percentage. And then at 15, you are actually going to be able to get a crit percentage as well. So much later on in the game, you're going to want crit. But for now, early game, you're going to want the smack. In terms of once you then, get the smack runes or the smack blessings there, you want to come into your underwear. And you want to, again, if we click on go to blessing and then look, you can come down and you can see, oh, I just realized I didn't even have to change thing. But anyway, that's fine. You can come in and get the crit damage ones after level 10. I know these look kind of cool. But 100% you want to come in and get the crit damage. You want to do as much crit damage as possible. And later on, when you do get to 15, you can do the crit on the weapon and then the crit damage here. And you'll be in a very, very happy place. For your armor, you don't really need any of this. So what I would do is I would stick to Claw. So Claw is absolutely fine for armor. And for boots, you want to go Claw until you get to level 15. At level 15, you want to pick up the pace increase. Pace is what you're going to want. So go and get your pace blessings. But that does require level 15. The next thing this guide's going to touch on is how to build amulets. So eventually you're going to get to these red amulets, and when you do, you're going to be able to evolve them, and then they become these awesome scarlet looking amulets, or they're called galaxy amulets, but yep. So let's start with amulet skills. If we click on recast and then we click on, I think it's here, we can show up all the skills. So firstly, you can't stack amulet skills, or you shouldn't be able to. If you can, it's most likely a bug, or it's a feature in the game that they've just not announced. But typically for a DPS, you're going to want Wrath, because you want the 25% damage increase. And the other one you want is Fury. So bearing in mind you have 2 amulets on your DPS, so you can have 4 slots technically. I would put Fury, which is going to give you Rage after killing a an enemy. And then you've got Wrath as well for the 25% damage up. And then for your second set of amulet skills, there are a couple that you can honestly go for. Personally, I quite like Morale, because when your HP is above 60, you're going to have a nice crit rate increase. And I also like the counterpart to that, which is, I think it's here somewhere. If we just filter on DPS alone, that will probably help. War Banner, there we go. And that is literally the counterpart. Instead of crit, you get crit damage. So what you're going to have is you're going to have 25% damage up, and then you're going to have the crit damage and the crit rate up while your HP is high. Absolutely solid. Now, if you want some other options as well, you can opt to go maybe Lifesteal or Life Suck. Both are very, very good. I've not done the maths. I don't know which one is better out of the two. Alternatively, you can always go Speedy and get that pace increase as well, so you're just casting that a little bit faster. Well, once you get to these red amulets and you can then think about evolving, you're going to be able to start to temper amulets as well. And what that means is when you get 1-star, 2-star, you're going to be able to add temper stats. Personally, on my DPS, I like to build damage to tanks or damage to healers. And the reason is I like to get rid of the healers and the tanks early. It's up to you what you pick. My personal preference is doing more damage to tanks. It just removes them, means you have easier access to that backline, and all in all, you just end up like winning faster. So that's personally what I take on the tempers. The last thing I'm going to show you guys is dials. Not dials. It's actually not the last thing, because the last thing I am going to show you is dials, but it's runes now. So with purple and yellow runes, pretty much go for runes that are going to give you damage. So things like deals damage to 90% attack, or if you've got any ones that sort of buff yourself, pretty much you're looking for a passive attack buff as well here. That's pretty much all you're looking for. Later on in the game, if you're a bit of a whale, you're going to be able to have access to legendary stones as well. I forgot the name of them. I literally froze. As a DPS, the ones you're going to want to go for are either the attack defense one, so when battle begins every 15 seconds, deal magic damage to that much to all enemies and reduce rage recovery, or the assassin one, which what I quite like on someone like Broly. It's going to deal physical damage, 420% of attack to all enemies, and with the lowest enemy dispelling all their buffs on target, which, you know, and then as you go up, it's 30% attack as well on that, which is absolutely nuts. The other ones, so like things like Shepherd, HP Lock, and even Exorcist, are more aimed at support / tanks, so I wouldn't worry about those. These two are really the ones that you want to be gunning for. And the last thing I'm going to quickly show you is dials. So I don't have access to these two, unfortunately, so I can't say anything about that yet. But what I can say is I can talk about dials, and the dials you want to be gunning for are, so when the wearer's HP, when the battle begins, you get 10% HP up, and when you cast an ultimate, the weakest ally gains 10. I mean, not ideal. Key barrier is not ideal. This one, there we go. I clicked on the wrong one, that's why. So when your weakest ally dies, you get 10% damage up, last 6 seconds. This is alright. I would go for probably Life Absorb, and I think the other one was this one. No, it's not. It's that one. So there we go. You thought I'd have this ready. Grand Sacred Strike. This gives you power like to you, so anytime you get a kill, you get the damage up. And this one is if you're a bit weaker and your team's dying, then you'll get the power up. So they're the two dials I would be going for, or whatever they're called in this game. Technique selection. Sorry, they're called techniques. They're called dials in another game, and I just keep referring to them as that. I'm sorry if that's confusing. But boys, that is my quick DPS guide, how to build a DPS, and my DPS tier list. Let me know if you found that useful, and if you did, I'll go make a tank and a support one. So let me know in the description below, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.